Does anyone here know who Justin Timberlake is? You know, tracks like Can't Stop the Feeling, Cry Me a River, or Sexy Back. I remember like when I listened to Sexy Back for the very first time, I felt like the sexiest man alive, perhaps more than the man himself. Some of you may scoff at the thought of me, this 16-year-old Vietnamese boy who barely made through puberty, dares to compare himself to such an icon like JT. Yeah, I don't have a six-pack, and I don't possess that kind of Hollywood charm that Brad Pitt or DiCaprio has, but it doesn't matter, because today, I'll show you how I bring sexy back. As confident as I am today, I was still insecure about myself. Sometimes I question my own identity as a man, and the disparity between what I view as something that makes a man versus what society actually dictates. Man up. That phrase is usually thrown about these days. It's what made me realize the bitter truth about what actually makes a man. And sadly, it's more restricted than I thought it would have been. As a man, I must be a creature that oozes charisma, machismo, and power. This means as man, we must shovel over pain and heartache aside and to stand tall and proud for the ladies. In fact, men are too ego-driven at times that we'd rather die than showing of weaknesses, because it's a disgrace to be weak. And we must demonstrate good example for younger boys in order so that they can become the very same emotionally brought up creature like ourselves. But I refuse to abide the standard that society is actually imposed on us. And at the time, I was not yet ready to take up the beating for that. I've been caused everything, from gay to be a sissy. I've been challenged along the way as people question my sexuality and shame my behavior, which are quite sassy and full of life, in contrast with expectations of a tough and rigid behavior. People also made me feel guilty of my feminine hobbies, like art and fashion. Other boys thought that being dominant in a relationship with women is a normal manly thing to do. So my family stance again was questioned. They think I cannot be in a relationship because I don't want control of a woman. How ignorant are they? What I had to go through was a product of society that puts us in frames like gingerbread cookies, and men are strong, women are weak and in need of support. What an outdated narrative, actually. If men are so confident about themselves, then why do they have to fear a difference and drag others down or to exert their dominance? And do we actually really need to degrade women in order to actually please ourselves? But I realized complaining is actually not enough. So I decided to express my own discontent through art, because I believe in art, there's actually no boundaries. No boundaries on gender, identity, and politics. And I'm free on expression, and no establishment is going to dictate how my art should look like. I use art to say, fuck you, to the critic and the distractor who actually stuck up with their behaviors, what you're actually seeing before. But I think saying the F word and throwing some curse words is actually not enough. But it's about embracing the idea that there's no set definition of being a man, because there are actually more than 1, 2, or 3 rigid framework what a man's supposed to be. So you question me, how do I bring sexy back? Well, simple. I choose to reject that version of beauty and crowd my own, and that as long as I'm living my life the fullest and I'm freely to express myself my own will and do what I want to do, then I am the sexiest man alive in the world. Thank you.